Hi everyone, welcome back. Thank you so much for joining me. I decided I wanted to share some advice about being in college, and I just want everyone to take it with a grain of salt. Take it if you want it. If you don't want it, then don't take it. It's up to you, but I just wanted to share everything I've learned so far, especially since I'm in my last year now, and I feel like the advice I wanted wasn't there for me when I was going to school, and this is just something I wanted to share with everyone in case they're looking for it. But hopefully you get something out of this. So let's get started. Number one, your roommate doesn't have to be your best friend. I know for guys, if guys are watching, that it's more common for you guys to go random, which is totally understandable and they don't care as much. But for girls who are watching this, picking a roommate is like one of the most important things ever. That's at least how I thought of it when I was going to school. And then I ended up I wouldn't say not getting along, but we weren't best friends how we see in the movies and in TV shows. And that was just kind of not what I was expecting, I guess, which kind of made me feel really bad. I was like, why am I not best friends with her? We should be best friends. Like, this isn't how the movies go. I want to share with you, your roommate doesn't have to be your best friend. If they don't end up being your best friend, that's totally fine. That's totally fine. It doesn't matter. They don't have to be your best friend at the end of the day. This is someone you are living with. Like, this is a random person you didn't know how many months ago. And now you're put into this little tiny room and you're gonna learn every single thing about each other, whether you want to or not. The good, the bad, the ugly, all of it. If you do end up best friends, that's honestly the best possible outcome. But if you don't beat yourself up. Don't beat yourself up about it. And with that, you are gonna meet so many more amazing people. If they aren't your best friend, someone else is gonna end up being your best friend, and that's perfectly fine. It doesn't have to be your roommate, especially since you're already sharing so much with this person. Number two, continuing on, kind of off that freshman year vibes, the first person you meet, the first people you meet, whether on your floor, in your building, whatever, whoever it may be, they don't have to be your so-called friend group. They don't have to be the only people you hang out with. Meet other people. I don't want anyone limiting themselves to the people in their dorm, on their floor, whatever. For me, especially because it was COVID, it was different. I could only hang out with people in my dorm and on my floor, really. So that made it really difficult for me, honestly, and I kind of forced myself into a group that I didn't really like. And I was like, I have to do this because this is the only way I'm gonna have friends. I don't want anyone else to feel that way. And you're most likely, there's gonna be a lot of people on your floor, okay? You're gonna meet a lot of people. Whether or not you hang out with them all the time is honestly up to you. But have other people to go to as well, because you might get sick of them at some point. There might be some huge fight. And if these are your only friends, these are your friend group, who knows what could happen? You might end up losing these friends over some super fight. And if you don't have anyone else, then that kind of sucks. So branch out, meet more people, meet as many people as you can in those first couple of months. Everyone's looking for friends when they get to college. Everyone wants to meet more people. So talk to as many people as you can. Don't feel limited to just your roommate and the people your roommate hangs out with, or the people on your floor, or your neighbors, or whatever. Now, this is something I swear by, and I'm so sad I didn't get one my freshman year, but go to the club affairs. Go to them. At Syracuse, there's like 500 something clubs. The club fair, you get all the clubs in one place. Literally on the quad, you get to hear about every single club possible. You get to see all of them. You get to see some of the members. You get to see all of it. Now, this is your chance to find something you're interested in. If you like chess, there's most likely a chess club. For me, it was rock climbing, and there was an outing club at my school. There is an outing club at my school, and so now I'm able to do rock climbing, I'm able to hiking, mountain biking, all of that stuff. And a lot of clubs are like that. There's skiing, there's, all those, like, there's club teams if you want to play a basketball team, if you want to play on a softball team, whatever, and you don't want to play at a collegiate level that's super high up, you can still do club and you can still enjoy yourself and you can still do something you're passionate about, which is important. And especially since I didn't have one, from being in a club and working, being at the fair for the club, we want to talk to you. We want you to come up to our table and ask as many questions as you want, because we love talking about it. Most of the time, someone from the exec or the board is gonna be at that table. They're gonna know all the answers to everything if the person you're talking to doesn't. You're gonna get everything you want in probably the span of 5 minutes. And hey, most of them have interest meetings. We have one at our club, and that's where we go through every single thing possible in our club. We answer every single question, no matter how redundant, no matter what. We're happy to answer them because we want people to join. We want you to come up and talk to us. We want you to join the club. We want you to be a part of it. We want you. So go to these club fairs and you go to the meeting. It's not for you. It's not for you. You then unsubscribe from the email if there's an email list. You don't go to another meeting. Done. It's over. It's not like you're signed up for it for life now. You don't have to be. You try it out. You don't like it. You don't like it. Fine. Now, going to the academic side of things, number one thing for this is not getting a good grade is not the end of the world. If you don't get an A, take a deep breath. It's okay. It doesn't matter. And this is coming from someone who got all A's in high school and pushed herself to get all A's in high school and was like, I'm gonna be the same way in college. It is not like that in college at all. And I know it's hard to change that mindset. Trust me, I get it. But it is very different. The classes are very, very different. You're learning probably twice as much as you ever did in high school. And it's stressful. It's a lot to unpack. There is so much you need to know for this one class. Then you multiply that by 5, and it's just like, wow, this is not what I was expecting at all. Now, going off this, one single bad grade on a test or paper means absolutely nothing, okay? That paper could be 10% of your grade, right? That's 10%, that's probably this much. You can bounce back from that one paper and get literally the highest scores ever on this next, and that paper won't even touch your grade at all whatsoever. So that one failure is kind of just a wake-up call and being like, maybe I need to study more. Maybe I need to focus more on this class instead of focusing on something else. Maybe this is something I need to pay more attention to because it isn't coming as easy as I thought it would. I thought I knew this. Maybe I don't. I need to restudy. I need to refocus. If the class isn't for you, then it isn't for you. That's perfectly fine. I took a physics class and I learned very early on science classes in general are not my thing. I was studying. I had a tutor. I was going to my classes. I was getting help. And I still wasn't doing how I was expecting I would do. I was learning topics I thought I already knew from high school, and I wasn't. And I just wasn't comprehending it, and I wasn't doing my best. But a C in one class didn't ruin me. I'm still okay. I still have a good GPA. Your jobs aren't asking you for what grade you got in a physics class. They're probably not even asking for your GPA. Now, that doesn't mean slack in all your classes. That just means if you don't do well in one class that's required most likely for a degree, then okay, you don't do well. That's fine. Move on. Focus on your other classes. Do what you can to do as well as you can. But don't stress too much that it's going to ruin your life, because it really isn't. This being said, college is difficult. Don't burn yourself out. Do not. Do not take all math and science classes in one semester. I took multiple and it was brutal. These are very rigorous classes. They talk about a lot of topics, a lot of things you have to know, memorize, I'm telling you. And that's going to be hard for you. You will burn yourself out if you are just constantly taking those rigorous classes all the time, and just it won't be well for you. And that's from experience. That's from me doing it myself and then realizing I was like, mid-semester, this was a mistake, because I was so drained every single day after all my lectures, after all my labs and homework and all of that. I was like, this is draining. I feel like I can't even think anymore because I've used it all up. I've strained my brain so much that I don't even know what's going on. This is kind of social, kind of academic, but try to meet someone in every class, and like just one person, maybe two, how many ever you want. This is important not only for the connections that you're gonna have, but because at some point you're gonna miss a class. Could be sick, could be an emergency, or you had to go home, or who knows, whatever it may be. You are gonna end up missing a class, and you want to be able to have someone you can text and be like, I'm not gonna be in class today. Can you send me the notes that you take? Can you, whatever, tell me what I missed. Tell me if there's a big project coming up. I mean, a lot of professors do post their lectures, I will admit, but a lot of, at least my professors recently, have been switching to broken slides where they have the gaps in it, where you have to fill it in, but you can only get the fill in the blank stuff if you go to the lecture. So you have to go to the lecture, and if you miss a lecture, you miss the notes. Having a friend who can give them to you is less stressful, and then you can just be like, oh, if you miss a class, I got you the next time. You know, like, it's a back and forth. You then also have someone to study with for tests. Okay, this next piece is really from personal experience at my own school at Syracuse. So take it really how you want it. Don't feel pressured to join a sorority or a fraternity. I went back and forth about this decision for 2 years. My first year, I was really back and forth, and I was like, no, I really don't want to rush during COVID. My second year then, I was like, maybe I should rush. My friends all did their freshman year at their other schools. I knew a lot of people who did it at my school. I was just like, okay, maybe I should rush. Maybe it'll be good for me. I ended up not rushing, which I think, for me personally, is the better decision, at least. Because at Syracuse, you don't have to be in a sorority to get into the fraternity parties. At least as a girl, a lot of the parties start around midnight, however late they might be, and you don't have to be in a sorority to get into them most of the time, because the part with the sorority is usually earlier in the night, 10, 11 o'clock, and then midnight hits, and anyone from any sorority, not in a sorority, that's a girl, can get in. Now, if you're a guy, you will only get into these fraternity parties if you're in the fraternity, or in the fraternity that they are, throwing a party with, whatever it may be. Now, that's saying, as a guy, I'm not saying you have to join a fraternity in order to have a social life. I'm saying that you just won't get into the fraternity parties. But there's house parties, there's bars if you're legal. There's other things, there's other things you can go to. You don't necessarily have to be in Greek life to have a social life. I am not in Greek life. I know I have friends who are, I have friends who aren't, and we pretty much do the same thing because I still go to fraternities and I still go to bars. Take time to yourself. I don't know what number this is, but take time to yourself. Yes, you are young and free, but if you don't feel like going out one night, don't go out, because you will be miserable and you're just gonna bring yourself down. You might bring the people around you down, and no one wants to do that. No one wants to deal with that. And it's just, if you feel better to stay in bed and watching Netflix, watching whatever all night long instead, then stay in bed. Missing one night doesn't mean you miss out on a million different things. You probably won't even miss out on anything, because the next night is going to be the same thing again. And this is honestly coming from experience, because I learned to put myself first. I didn't want to go out. I would force myself sometimes, and I absolutely hated it. I was so miserable. And even when I tried to, I'd be like, it will be fun, it will be fun. I was still miserable, and I hated my time out. And I literally thought of just being in bed the whole time I was there. I'm always happy with my decision of staying in, because the next night, most likely they're still gonna invite you out, even if you said no the night before. My friend does it all the time. She knows right now that I am more into just going out once a week, Friday, Thursday, Saturday, whatever night it may be. And she knows that if I'm going out, we're gonna have a good time, because I'm not gonna be miserable. Whether if I'm forcing myself out every night, she knows I'm not gonna have a good time. She's learned that by now. She understands, and she doesn't pressure me into going out with her. She knows I'm not gonna have a good time. I know I'm not gonna have a good time. Why not just stay in? That's how I see it. You need to find the perfect balance of academics and a social life. I'm saying you need to understand when academics come first and when you can go out and party, okay? But you are on your own for your first time. Your mom isn't going to be telling you to make your bed. Your mom isn't going to be making you food. Your mom isn't going to be telling you to do your homework, whatever it may be. They aren't there to babysit you anymore. They aren't there to tell you to get your stuff done. If you don't get it done, that is completely on you. Find the balance. Get your work done, then go out. Once it's done, then you can go out. That's how I put it in my head. If I finish my paper, then I can go out. I don't finish it, I'm not going out tonight. Because getting a good grade is more important than me going out with my friends, I feel. Because you're paying thousands of dollars to go to the school to get a degree. You want to do well in these classes. You should focus on these classes. And finding that balance where I got all my work done, I can go out and enjoy myself now. Because if I don't get my work done and I go out and I'm stressed because I didn't get my work done, probably not going to enjoy going out, because you're going to be stressed thinking about all the work I have to get done, all the stuff I have to do, all of literally everything. You're not going to be able to do it. Find that perfect balance. Doing these things on your own for the first time is a big step up from where you're coming from high school. Find that balance. This is a trial and error process. This is something you're gonna probably not do an assignment and go out instead, and that's perfectly fine. But if you end up failing on a paper or a test because of it, you learn then that next time, I'm not going out, I need to study because I can't do bad on this test, because I should focus on this. This is important for me to focus on. Now, my last piece of advice is, it is okay to not know what you are doing with your life. It is okay to go in undecided on a major. It is okay to go in as a major and switch to another one, especially if you find out that major really isn't for you, especially if you find out you don't really want to do that for the rest of your life. My friend went in as a math major. She wanted to be a math teacher. She is now in data analytics and wants to work for a baseball team or some sort of sports team. That's perfectly normal. That's honestly okay. And if it means it takes you longer to finish school, then it takes you longer. If it means something else, it means something else. But it is okay. You are young. You have time to learn what you want to do with your life. If you finish college and go into what your degree is and you hate it, you absolutely hate it and want to change, then change. You still have that time to do it. That's perfectly normal. I mean, I know plenty of people who have done that. And that's perfectly fine because you're early on in your life. And I think what put it best for me is I read somewhere and it's like, when you turn 20, you are a 0 years old adult. When you turn 21, you are a 1-year-old adult. You're restarting your life pretty much. You're relearning everything. I'm 21. I have 1 semester left in college, and I have no idea what I want to do with my life. I hate when people ask me, what are you doing after graduation? I have no idea, because I have so many things I want to do. And figuring that out is really up to me, and I'm going to take my time to figure it out because I can. I have the opportunity to, and I want to find something I love. I don't want to be miserable for the rest of my life, and that's perfectly normal. And I honestly recommend that you find what you love and you pursue it, no matter what anyone else says, no matter what your parents want you to be, no matter what society says to do. Doesn't matter. Do what you love, find it, and pursue it. But it is okay to not know what you're doing. It's okay to not have a job lined up. It's okay to not get internships. It's okay to not have taken APs and go into college with multiple credits already. It is all okay. Everyone is on their own path, and you are going to get to where you're supposed to be eventually at some point. And however long it takes you is however long it takes you. Okay, thank you so much for watching, guys. I hope this advice at least helps someone. I know there's so much rambling, and I feel like I had so much to say, and it was just so uncoordinated. But I don't know. That's just how I feel. This is what I've learned so far of being at school and just honestly learning so much as I went. And I'm so happy I learned what I did, and I'm hoping one person gets something out of this that is helpful for them, because that would honestly make my day. I don't care if anyone else does, as long as one person feels better from hearing this advice. So thank you guys so much for watching. Like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.